Ranking #1 on Google is not enough anymore. If you're not showing up on ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or any LLM, you are practically invisible in 2026. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to fix this, how to rank, and most importantly, how AI SEO works today.
Here's what we're going to do. The overview, which we're at right now, I'll just go into a little about who I am, why listen to me, and talk about AI SEO evolution. Very important to understand, how we got, where we came from to really get into how we, operate in the future and where this thing is going. So that's super important. And then core tactics, right? That's the meat and potatoes. What are you doing there? And then, some key takeaways, just wrap it all up. And then Q&A. Good.
I love it. Take it away, man.
All right. So overview, what we're doing today. We're going to show you how to get found in AI using Gohighlevel and simple tools. Walk through what's changed, break down tactics, give you clear takeaways you can do immediately, and leave with a checklist. You can implement this yourself. And then Q&A. I really want you guys to address whatever the concerns are, right? I think I know what maybe I can deliver and help you guys out with, but I don't really know that. I just know what I'm doing and what's working for me. And that's what I'm going to here to tell you guys. So by the end of this, you all know how to get found, trusted, chosen in AI and what to do next. So this is me, Brent and David Nichols. Okay. So I built an SEO marketing agency from obviously zero. I guess that's where everyone starts, to right now we're at 60K a month. So here's actual revenue. Pretty exciting. 2022, 297. That's dollars. To 2025, 496K. Right? Better. And currently, right now, we're at 60K. And I'll go through some projections and exactly what we did to get that. But it's essentially digital marketing agency, leveraging Gohighlevel, doing all the right things, focusing on what's actually works, not theory. Right? There's a lot of smart people, but it's about the doers and it's about the testers and it's about getting it done.
Yep.
So we're in the trenches right now. We've got over 50 recurring SEO clients. We're super excited. We love all of them. Love is a very important thing. Now we help businesses get found in AI, not just Google, right? So SEO has evolved. So here's the real deal. All right, so this is, like I said, this is real striped data. I'll go into the things. This 297, actually, I charged someone by accident. And I didn't know how to refund it. It was like a free trial that I was supposed to do. And I freaked out. I ended up giving the person cash. So I really didn't make any money. I really lost $3 because I gave it 300 bucks. 2023, getting better. Right? This is the real data, 12,650. This is the year I met Mr. Declan O'Reilly, who there he is, right? And I would say Declan was the best coach ever. He inspired us, and he basically said, "Do this with confidence. You got this." And he brought out the best. And guess what happened in 2024? Boom! Now we're rolling. Now corporate jobs go bye-bye. And, we start really, getting in the thick of it. And so this was last year, 2025. This is Stripe data. Actually, it's more than this because people were paying us in checks and stuff like that. And then, so the projection based on this is we're at going to be 1.17 this year. Right now we're at 60. That's this month. And, 2027, I think that's light because this thing is going to explode and it just picks up things. So this is just a little bit about me, my agency, what we've done. These things are battle tested, and I really am excited to share. If I'm just touching a few of you guys out there, some of you maybe already at the 70K mark, and you're like, dude, I just need AI SEO. Fine, I got you too. But I really want to talk to also the people that just need to put in that consistent work because that's freaking so important, right? So consistency compounds. Most people just quit too early, right? So this is my Gohighlevel dashboard, right? So, this is the real deal, right? I got all these freaking clients. Like this is Israel, right? I'm so excited. I freaking need to be pinched almost every day. So like freaking rock on. I'm going to show you guys how to run an SEO agency and exactly what is, the important parts of that. And then I hope you guys get a lot of value out of this. So before we get into those tactics, it's super, super critical you understand what SEO is and where it came from and the history of it. So it went from links to answers. Okay. Basically, you click a link, used to, now you just get an answer, right? Google ranks pages, AI recommends entities and trust. I'll get into more of that later, right? Some of this I'm going to breeze by because it's a little self-intuitive, right? Websites, yeah, they're no longer the central part, right? It's like, it's everywhere and everything matters, right? They pull from multiple sources, not just your site. If AI doesn't recognize you, you don't exist. Okay, so Google rank, this is the main takeaway from this side. Google ranks websites, actually web pages technically, but AI recommends trust. The word recommends is important, right? It's not a ranking factor, it's just a recommendation. So what stayed the same, right? All this stuff stayed, like there's, out of all the tested stuff that we've done, none of this stuff has ever moved the needle in either direction. This is like baseline stuff for any kind of SEO that you need, right? You need content quality, search intent match. What that means is it a local search? Is it a commercial search? Is it an informational search? All that stuff needs to line up across any kind of entity, both with AI and with Google. Authority, depth, experience, originality. I'm sure you guys have heard this term before, EEAT, right? Experience, expertise, authority, trust, freshness, all this stuff still matters. So, we can get into all like the tactics behind these things too. They matter, but they're not moving the needle in favor of AI and getting shown in recommendations, right? What gained importance in AI answers is this stuff, right? This is what separates AI SEO and SEO is this slide right here. So the reviews, right? Third-party validation. That's what AI is looking for. Brand mentions, it's the new backlink. AI is very good at understanding semantics. They understand the actual language. That's what they do, right? So a mention is super, super critical. And then schema, structured data, right? It's basically the way you position your website, embedding structured data into the HTML code actually helps tremendously, right? So this right here is going to be one of the core takeaways. All the other stuff is just real work, right? Not that schema isn't real work, but it could be a differentiator with the technical side of things, right? Real company shit. Like you have to go out and you've got to do PR and you got to do this, right? There's not a tactic behind, making your brand, exciting, right? This is an absolute tactic, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that, right? That's a separator, right? Entity clarity, again, all goes back to that brand, right? Brands are more important than ever now, right? If the playing fields are being like evened out, right? Because they want the truth. The best brands are going to survive, right? All the tactical stuff probably will not. You need a good brand. Consistency. Is your message consistent? Like you've heard the NAP before, name, address, phone number, right? Citations, very important, right? Get everywhere. Gohighlevel does a great job at that too. I'll show you that. Knowledge graph presence. What that means is if you're just a website, that's great, but you need to be determined as an actual thing, as an actual company, as an actual real entity doing business, right? To be in the recommendation, not just a website that has all this nice data on it, right? Clarity of offer. There's that brand again. Structured formatting. There's the structured formatting again. And social signals. Everyone loves this one because, just blitz the social media with stuff. True. That's true. Right? Make sure it's consistent with your brand, make sure it's tying back to your website, and making sure you got a good call to action and you're consistent. Very good. What's less important? This is a good one. Keyword optimization. Oh,
Interesting.
I'm sure everyone's really excited about that one. Internal linking, all, UX engagement signals, page speed, and then backlinks less important. So these stuff are still good.
Backlinks are less important.
Backlinks are less important now than ever, right? Because
Can you repeat that like 9 times? Chat, does that make sense? The backlinks are actually less important. I've been saying this for a while, and for some reason, you guys, not all of you, but a lot of people said that was not the case. So you actually, real quick, we got to quickly just unpack that more. Can you tell us why they don't matter?
Yes,
This is
I can tell you why.
People are constantly going over this.
All right. They're less important because of one very specific reason. The large language modules or models, right? Language. That's the key word in there. They understand. You don't need a link to get the juice that you need to get referenced. That's why, right? So that's the simple answer. The more complex answer is backlinks became a game of freaking like black hat spam, right? It just was like the wild, wild west, right? It got to the point where, you know, every Google algorithm was about all these, you know, backlinks, like people that are, it's not real, right? So it's getting less important because it's not, you know, it's not real sometimes. However, the real ones are still important. Let's not actually downplay the importance of backlinks. They're still very important, and they're important to get your website ranked. And getting your website ranked is still important, okay? But we're talking about AI SEO. In the context of AI SEO and getting shown as an answer or recommendation in one of the large language models, it's less important. And so for context here, it's less important. Did I answer your question, Declan?
Yes. Okay. Continue. Keep going. Just
all right.
One guy said on the slide it has the most stars of any category.
That's true. It's true. So this right here is Google, right? What's important to Google, right? Backlinks are the most important thing. Like Google, any search engines, right? It's way more important because keywords you're in control of, internal linking you're in control of. You're in control of all these things. You're not in control of this. So third-party validation is the most important thing in SEO, and that's why this has more stars, right? And then, but it's just a little bit less. So it's still important, right? Because right now it just lost a little bit of important juice as far in the context of AI SEO. Okay. Right. And that's what we're talking about here. So I hope that clarified.
That's like, perfect. Yep.
Like don't go out and like not get backlinks because you think they're not important. They still are. It's just in this context, not so much.
Perfect.
All right. There it is. All right. So let's look at this for a second, right? I've got a few of these, right? But this is just kind of the general thing that's happening here that I feel like is super important for you guys to understand, right? Old SEO ranks pages, backlinks, website is like the center of the universe, and Google sends traffic and you're good to go, right? Now AI visibility, you're an answer, your recommendation, right? And it pulls from all these other places. I'm going to get into all the other places it pulls from. But it has to do with trust. It always has had to do with trust. And trust, it makes the world go round, right? Your brand clear, your reputation, third-party validation, where you're at, your distribution, consistency, omnipresence, and then are we, again, clarity, right? But clarity as far as machines go and open AI, right? Super important. So that's that. All right. So essentially, basically 2005 to 2022 is, you know, get ranked on Google, you're good to go. Then there's a little gray area. The AI overviews, what's going on, you know, all these things, you know, keywords are dead, blah, 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 blah. Now AI just gives you an answer. So the attributions of tracking how well you're doing gets a little fuzzy, you know, and that's the problem here. So I want to take you guys through this flow chart. Hopefully this comes up really nice. This is because all that's a lot of words. I took some time to try to simplify the hell out of this, right? This is the way it used to work. User searches, goes into the search engine pulls up your website's supported by backlinks, you get traffic, you get that. That was the game, right? Now the game is this. A little bit more complicated. All these pieces are still there, right? But user searches for something, and then it goes into, you know, the open AI or whatever your large your LLM is, and it's going from its training data, right? And you see how that changes, right? That's why these things are getting updated. I think chat's at 5.4 now. But they have a pool of information that's always set. Then they have retrieval sources, right? That's dynamic because they want to keep the best answer. And what makes that dynamic is all these things, right? Your website goes into there. The search engines go into there. Your digital footprint everywhere, all the social media, all the YouTube, directories, citations, all that goes into a retrieval source, right? And then boom. And then it combines it all in whatever kind of, however you want to think about it, into the answer. Sometimes it'll send you to your website and you get traffic, but most of the time it's just a user decision. So all these pieces are still here. It's important to have a good website, a good ranking website. And because it adds to the retrieval of how you can get shown there, right? This is the stuff you can control, right? Which is what I'm going to get into in the presentation. You control this stuff, right? It's you got to be omnipresent. The Google Business Profile right now is huge. Your reviews, that was like the number one thing, right? Reviews, and you can not totally control it, but you need to work at it. You need to get those things, right? Directories, certainly in control of. Where you referenced, you can go out there and build on these directories. Gohighlevel has that Yext feature built into it. Use that. That's what I use, right? Social media, again, the social media planner, just getting your brand messaging out there. It's important more than anything, right? All right. So, be everywhere. Reputation, structure, which is a key differentiator of all these things. Distribution, that's all social media stuff, and authority. And so the brand I have now coming out of this this YouTube live, I'll have a checklist for you guys, right? It's gonna have the 5 big things, right? It's gonna have the brand, the reputation, you know, the distribution, and you know, the authority and all those things, and exactly what kind of questions to ask. And you know, as an agency owner, right, what's going to separate you from a lot of the other people is caring and asking these questions and sitting down with your client and going through these types of things. That's been a differentiator, and you know, actually giving a shit. like you know, I mean, I say that kind of jokingly, but it's important, right? It's really important in this age where everything's a push button like thing. You know, having a little human interaction and some caring, it goes a long, long way. So I'm gonna breeze through some of these stuff. Okay, wow, that's a big freaking slide. What does this mean? Well, this is. I have a thing where you can judge your brand, right? And this is kind of like the schematic of it. Long and short is pay attention to this one up here on the top left. Like, have those things ready, know these things, and make sure they're in the consistently on all those areas. I'm serious. There's not a whole lot of magic other than doing the work. And then down here on the top, on the bottom left or bottom right, how do you repair these things, right? You need to define who you are before you start anything, right? Who you are, where you want to be as a company, as your client, what is going on with your company. And then you can start putting these things together. You can start putting together a game plan. And then once you have the basic pieces of the brand, you just blitz it, right? You know what the content needs to say, you know where it needs to go, you know all the competitors and all the other directories, and you just go. And you hit it consistently, and you do it. So reputation is the second big one. All right, I'm going to go quick here because I think everyone knows that this is important, right? And there's ways to get this. Again, you know, I know my personal tactic is, you know, we have an actual lead-in product, right? Because you know, SEO is a service. It's a service, and it's a service that's expensive, and it's a service that requires trust, right? So we have I call it a lower ticket offer called Authority Engine, which is to get reviews for customers, right? And Gohighlevel has a ton of really, really awesome features, and I utilize it to make my Authority Engine and to tie into the CRM and to get these reviews. And again, you saw on that other slide, that's the number one differentiator is the reputation and third-party validation. So just that alone, just getting reviews alone, if you do nothing else, you're still going to move the needle a little bit. I'm telling you, SEO is a service. It's not a push button thing. Now there's ways to do your service better, leveraging AI tools, right? But it is in fact starts with a strategy and a game plan. And that's been the differentiator for JDS1 Marketing and Dental SEO Pros for sure. Structure. All right, I promised I'd show you how to do this. So I have a demonstration of how to do this. You go high level, schema markup, right? The technical piece that can be a differentiator. And it's been proven over and over again that, you have all the proper schema and all the proper code and things, and it works. And it absolutely affects whether you get shown in the AIs or not. So that is a gift here that I'm going to get into in a second, and making sure you guys understand that. Clarity. As Hormozy says, clear beats clever, right? Always does.
Yeah.
Right. So here's kind of like now the way to try to understand it, because understanding is important, right? What a website is pages, text, and images, right? And then if AI tries to understand that with none of this data help, it's hard to interpret, right? But it has all these things behind the scenes, it helps it. So now where you show up, right? YouTube, yay, right? YouTube is a huge player, especially now, 2026. If you don't have a YouTube channel, or if you're not telling your clients to get a YouTube channel, you're missing out. The YouTube channel needs to be gotten immediately, right out of the gate. Do not pass go. Get the YouTube channel, get the LinkedIn, obviously the Google business profile, right? That's it's always kind of been known, right? But you need these things more than ever now, because these are the needle movers, right? LinkedIn is a proven retrieval source, right? It's trusted depending on exactly, the reputation of where the information is coming from. It's a retrieval source. So get on LinkedIn and start doing your brand messaging, and those things are going to help. Consistency. I'll say it again. No presence, no data. So again, let's go. Let's do this.
Thank you, Brent.
Yo, this is where you got to be, right? Sounds very basic because it's simple, but not easy, right? It's simple, but not easy. And that's kind of like a lot of things in life here, right? We know what we need to do. We just got to go ahead and do it. And we got to hold ourselves accountable. But to get shown properly, to have AI trust you, this is the distribution that you need. You need all of it, not just a few things.
Brent, right? real quick. Are these in a certain order of most important to least important?
They are not.
If you had to,
but if I could order them, I would say, the Google is the most important. Your Google business profile and your website are going to be the most important as far as retrieval data goes into AI. And then I would say the second most important are probably these directories.
Or right? Their reviews.
Well, I would say that's a good question. Google's not going to listen to your reviews if you're not. That's why you need all of these things, right? You can't just have some of them. I know I just said if you only do the reviews, you'd be good. You'll move the needle. I know I just said that, right? So yes, these things are all going to help. But if you're not an entity, right, it's not going to recommend you. And you can't be an entity if you only have a website. And the only way to become a non-entity is to get on the directories. So it's kind of, I've been saying this maybe before AI SEO, directories is the of SEO. Like you pay to play, like boom. Like if you're not on the directories, you're nothing. Like you gotta do that at least. So that's why I said that was the most important. But reviews are gonna be the differentiator. Let's say everyone's got the directories, okay? Then the reviews are the differentiator, followed by YouTube. YouTube, obviously, I don't know how much you guys know about YouTube, but Google, it's a Google platform, right? And they talk to each other very, very well. And then the last important one is going to be the social platforms, right? They're not very easy to crawl. They're not very easy to index, right? So there's the retrieval data is still there, but it's minimal.
Sorry to interrupt. Quick question. We both went from Anna and Elizabeth. They said yellow pages and then Angie's list.
100%. So Angie's list. So Yellow Pages is a directory, right? And it's one of the more popular ones, right? So you got to get that when building a citation, like using the Yext builder as the in the reputation section of Gohighlevel, which I'll get into. That's going to be one of them. Like you're going to get Yellow Pages, you're going to get Brown Book, you're going to get Better Business Bureau, you're going to get the standard ones. Angie's is contractor specific. So Yext likely won't build you a directory there. You have to actually go and get your listing on Angie's. But again, same thing, very important. And that's a retrieval source. So that you need to just understand that there's a little bit of a sleeve rolling up when it comes to SEO and done right, and especially AI SEO. What was the next question?
Yellow pages.
Yep, that's a directory. So Yext will take care of the Yellow Pages. No problem.
Okay, awesome. Brent, because I do see there are some behaviors in here that don't understand this stuff. Very, very simply, could you explain what a directory is? Just very, very like not like the technical term, but like a good idea of what this is, because I actually also think a lot of more advanced people still don't quite understand. So what is a directory in the simplest of terms? As Bright says, third grade language.
All right. Angie's is an example of a directory. Google Business Profile is an example of a directory. Yelp is an example of a directory. Those are Waze is an example of a directory. Alexa is an example of a directory. I named some big ones, right? You don't think of those as directories, but a directory is anything online where your name, address, and phone number can be listed. That's as simple as it gets. So
could Amazon be a directory?
It is a directory.
Oh, is Walmart online directory?
100%. If your name, address, and phone number can get referenced on it, it is a directory.
Oh, dating sites.
Yep, directory.
Interesting. Okay. And before we move on, why don't I just make sure we.
So, but that's more like personal. Like I don't think businesses are dating on sites. I mean, like I guess LinkedIn is like a business dating site, right?
Wait. But is LinkedIn a directory though? Even though
LinkedIn is a directory,
but it's its own category. So it seems like all of these things.
It's a social directory, right? So like, it's a loose, right? A directory is more broad, put it that way, right? And then there's different types of directories, but a directory in general is just where you can be listed with your name, address, and phone number. So it can, at the end of the day, what you want to do is you want to figure out what directories your competitor are listed on and get on all of them, right? Yext is the perfect starting tool for it, which is built right into Gohighlevel. And then, you kind of take it from there with some research, and a good place to research is, and I'll get into some like actual searching online, but like a lot of times you'll search for yourself and the directories show up. Like Angie's is the first one. Like Bark is another one. Like all these things like have a high domain authority and they get ranked high. So you got to get on them. I don't want to get too far into weeds with directories because
that was perfect. We can move on. That was just what we needed, man.
All right, cool. All right, authority. And this is the last of the big five. And then we'll get into these are tactics, by the way. Dimensions, which is the new backlink, right? The backlinks, obviously, they're still important. Being referenced by trusted sources. And the real world, like real world, you know, if you're giving to like a charity and your company is referenced, that's a brand reference. That's PR. That's all found, right? All that is really, 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 really powerful SEO. So if no one talks about you, AI won't either. And let's move this for.
Yeah, I like the way you're a fast learner. You remember it.
You got to be a fast learner here. When you got to refund your first $297, you learn quick.
Hey man, you learning out here.
Right. So it's all about trust and it's all about authority, right? So here we go. Let's walk you through like the things. So how this gets done, right? You know, and again, this is a little bit repetitive. So, but again, repetitiveness is what creates learning. You know, centralize your brand and messaging. What does centralize mean? It means make sure it's everywhere, right? Make sure you have an understanding of it is what it really means, you know, and, you know, it's not scattered, right? Automate review generation. Like asking for a review. Yeah, that's great. But if you're not have a typical velocity of reviews, then you're not going to get, you know, it's going to go away. The trust is going to go away. And you see, that's why automation on reviews is hot.
Which, guys, as you know, Go High Level is amazing. We have that free snapshot in the community for those of you who are in there, which just automates it all, which is what we want. I mean, you start getting a ton of reviews, you don't have to do anything. It basically ranks itself. So,
yep. That is if you're on all the directories.
Yes.
And the distribution.
If you're liking this video and you want to learn more about AI SEO, but more importantly, how to position and sell this to local businesses, I have a free community for you, which has a ton of free bonuses that you get completely free when you sign up with my 30-day free trial of Go High Level right down below. Now, Go High Level is what we've been using to build all this stuff out and to do AI SEO, rank in ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, all this stuff. But I'm giving you all these extra bonuses on top of that to help you out other than just a 30-day risk-free trial. So check this out. So you get access to my entire private community, okay? You get access to all of my trainings, all of my sales scripts, client getting systems, all that. But most importantly, you get access to 7 live coaching calls per week on Zoom. One's with me where you can talk to me. One's with other coaches. I mean, we got all kinds of experts in here, and you can attend all of these for free. Free. You don't have to pay me. And again, I'm telling you right now, all of this whole thing is free when you sign up with that 30-day free trial link. And guys, I'm telling you right now, if you're trying to learn AI SEO or how to sell this or learn any kind of AI service and how to sell it, this is the group to be in. If you don't believe me, click the link down below and you will see the amount of testimonials we have. Unbelievable. We are both great for beginners starting out because we can give you the handhold you need, and advanced agencies trying to scale, we have you covered. So again, guys, if that interests you and you want access to all of these freebies for free and a 30-day exclusive trial of Go High Level, the link is right down below. So click it, check it out, and you will not regret it.
All right, and then capture the surface. So it's not just SEO, right? SEO is great. I love SEO, but it's digital presence. It's a different game, right? And that's what we're playing. It's not going to go away, right? AI is going to get more and more and more, and all the tools are going to change a little bit. But all this stuff, and which is why I want to just go back to like the human aspect of this, right? The tools are changing. We all know this, right? There's a gazillion and one new tools that'll come out tomorrow on, you know, how to build an agent to do all this stuff. Great, awesome. But what stuff is it doing? That's what you need to know. You need to understand why is it doing this stuff, and you need to be the actual strategy behind the tactics and the use, which is why I'm spending so much time on this particular thing, because that's very, very important. And it's what has been the engine behind, you know, our marketing agencies. And, you know, we're doing well, right? We're helping people, and we're partnering with, and we're having a freaking ton of fun, right? So stay human. I feel like that's like a song or something.
Should be at this point.
It could be. All right. So we've been talking about Gohighlevel, right? Gohighlevel is how I started my agency with my non-refunded $297 back in 2022. And it does all of these things, right? You just gotta kind of know how to do it and operate it accordingly, right? So we'll go through this when we go through the actual Gohighlevel tool, and then we'll open up for questions, and I'll do any kind of demonstrations. And I just want to be kind of an open book. Whatever it is that you guys need to ask me, based on my experience with prospecting, even whatever it is. But like, the fulfillment happens largely inside of the one tool, right? There's obviously things that happen outside, which is the meetings and all the going throughs and the strategies and things like that, right? But ultimately, it can hold the brand together. All right, so checklist and resource. I'm going to get into some cool shit, right? So here is the guideline of all guidelines, right? This is the overall important things that have to do with brand, reputation, structure, distribution, and authority. And when you get a client, I'm going to give you this checklist, right? Go through these kind of things, right? And then you'll get a client forever. They'll be like, oh my God, I never thought about all these things, right? And the one technical piece that I promised I would show you how to implement in Gohighlevel is this one, right? So I had my main man, Christian, put together a quick Zoom on how to do this. So is it appropriate to show this right now, Declan? How to do schema?
Yeah,
schema
please do it right now.
All right, so this is schema markup, the number one technical thing that you can do. I would say the lowest hanging fruit technical thing, right? There's a lot of technical things, but this is the lowest hanging fruit technical thing that you can implement right now with free tools that I'm going to show you how to do. So let's click it.
Hello, so I'm going to show you how to create an FAQ schema using free tools online. And for this example, I'm going to use Brent's website. So things first is you need to open a new tab and type in FAQs, the word generator, and hit enter. Then go here. You can see any of this, but I prefer the schema markup generator. Click that. And then click the drop down here and select FAQ page. So once you're here, you need to type in the question and answer. So let's do that here. Copy it. And copy the answer. And to add another question, hit add question. So I'll be doing this for the remaining question and answer here. And so I'll just pause the video and come back once then. So we have already copied all of the questions there. And the next thing we'll need to do is to test if the code is working. So we need to click this G button here and click reach results and hit test code. So it will test if the code is valid or not. So yeah, so the code is actually validated, and we need to close this one now and go back to this page and hit copy this button here. And once that's copied, you need to go to the editor of your website. So I've already opened mine. And next thing we'll do is to add an element here and type in code. This one, and just drag it just below your FAQ and open that and paste it here and hit save. And you can also name it as FAQ schema and hit save. So that's it. So that's how you add an FAQ schema and hit publish.
Yo, that's gold. Just do that to every place you can have schema, and it's going to help your AI visibility tremendously.
Hey,
Right.
I got a couple questions real quick. So first thing is, do you really have to use one of those tools as compared to like an LLM? Can't ChatGPT generate the same thing?
It could if you know what you're doing, right? It's a free tool, so that's what we chose to use.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, what about like Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini? Can't those generate schema for you?
100%.
Okay.
This is just the tool I chose to do.
I'm totally fine. Does it have to be on every single page?
It has to be where the schema is located, and it specifically shouldn't be on pages that it's not. So for instance, you wouldn't want to put FAQ schema for that. You have to put the appropriate FAQs right underneath that particular one only once on that page, not every page, just that page. Otherwise, it'll get a little wonky.
Okay. And for the people that are like mega beginners, what is schema in very, very short terms, like you did earlier so well?
All right. Schema is structured data, right? Structured data is basically embedded into your HTML. HTML is kind of the bricks and sticks of your website, right?
Yeah.
It's basically telling, you know, the web crawlers, in this case, OpenAI, what's in that room, right? Let's say your whole website is a house, right? And, you know, whoa, look at that. And the schema is going to identify each room, so the crawlers from the outside of the house can figure out what's in the house, right? That was probably a bad explanation, but maybe not. Maybe it was good. It's basically identifying things to make it easier to be found.
How many FAQs on a page, and can there be more in schema or schema?
It should be a 1-to-1 ratio, and it can be as many FAQs as you have. But all of the FAQs should be schemaed appropriately, because that's going to help for sure.
Schema is the sticker on a new car's window that breaks down all the specs of the car instead of having them to take the car apart.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, that's perfect.
That was clean.
So I would say, from a technical standpoint, right, other than doing all this work, right, because I mean, that's work too, right? But when I say work, I mean strategy type work of where you're going to, where are you going to get reference, how much you're going to post, what are you going to do, who's going to do this, all those things, right? That are required for SEO. This one, you can just do right out of the gate. You're going to have a website. You're going to identify what schema you can put on a website, and you're going to do it. Anyway, so getting back to
Brent, I got to stop you. This is really important, guys. This is really important to know. Brent is an AI SEO expert. Okay, he scaled his agency all the way to 60K per month. Okay, and he does this stuff all day, every day. He also has a world-class team. So the idea is that you're not just getting some random idiot's advice online. This is a guy who is in the trenches actually doing this. So this is fully tested.
All right. So this checklist can be a little overwhelming. However, like I said in the beginning, when you gain a client, and again, I can get into how I'm getting clients, whatnot. I've got 50 recurring clients. My churn is very, very low, right? I'm a relationship builder guy. That's how I chose to do it, right? When you sit with your new client and you go through these things like, okay, let's talk about your brand, right? Look at this. All right. What problem do you solve? Who do you specifically solve it for? What outcome results you deliver? Why should someone choose you over your competitors? Do you have proof? Where are your results, case studies? Who's your ideal client and customer? What are your top 3 frustrations? What triggers them to look for your service? All of this stuff matters tremendously. I would say, of the tabs down here, this one is the most important, because it's going to give you an overall idea of the brand and how you now need to show on all these distribution channels that we talked about what you're about. And then that consistently over a long enough period of time always wins, because a lot of people aren't consistent. A lot of people know these things. Most people know everything. I mean, some people that, there's some smart people that aren't as successful as some not smart people just because the not smart people didn't give up,
And
right?
that's me.
Right? So like, if you follow any of these things, this brand, it all starts here and everything spiderwebs out of there, right? We're after the truth, right? Google was in, like, its brand is delivering truth. That's what it wants to do. That's why there's so many of these algorithm updates, because the people, smart SEO people, gaming the system. Google don't like that. That's not truth. That's not authentic. That's not giving the user what they want. That's why all these algorithms are out there, right? Google, like, you can say what you want about them. They're, big freaking, like, huge freaking thing, right? But they're solving a huge problem, right? And that's give the searcher what they want, okay? AI is solving another huge problem, right? I want to consolidate all the information to you, Mr. User, right? Keep in mind, AI knows you have a personal relationship with your AI. Think about how you guys interact with your Claude or anything. You enter all this information about you and what you want, right? So that this whole brand messaging, right? It goes out there and finds the brands that for you, right? So that's how you can attract more people, because you're basically writing messages for someone else's AI. Think of it like that. That's probably the easiest way to think about it, right? I've got my trusted referral partner in my hand. It's my ChatGPT. Hey, go find the best plumber near me, right? Okay. My ChatGPT knows what kind of house I have. It knows where I'm at. It knows, that I like, I like nice things. So it's not going to go for the shittiest plumber, right? It knows all the things, right? So that's how it's working nowadays. So it's all about that. And now, I don't want to get too on my diatribe about brand messaging, but it starts with the brand messaging for sure, right? Then there's the reputation, third-party validation. If other people are trusting you as an entity, AI is going to trust you, right? And look at some of these questions; they're great. They are fantastic, and they're gonna prompt you to do the right thing, right? And they're gonna actually put some energy behind the relationship that you have with your client. That's what these are designed to do. Now, some of them might be not right for the company. Like, I don't want to auto reviews, fine, right? But do you have a system? You need a system, right? Your system could be, I don't have a system. That's still a freaking system, right? So all these things need to be addressed, right? How are the requests set? Is there a manual effort? How many new reviews are you looking to get? Do you have goals, right? Is your review growth increasing, flat, declining? Like, looking at all the metrics is powerful, right? You can't track what you can't change, or you can't, I don't know. I
Can't change what you can't track.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? What platforms matter most? Are they diversified? This stuff really, really, really matters, right? I'm telling you, it matters more than you think, right? Getting this thing out there and just making a concerted effort to get these reviews. Do you showcase your reviews on your website? That's a simple thing to do. You should do it. Do you showcase your reviews on your social media? Simple thing to do. You should do it, right? All that stuff.
And High Level automates all that, guys. If you didn't know, you can literally just click the reviews thing in the session planner, and it will post it for you and put it on your website without you having to lift a finger. So again, utilize the tools.
Right. And then structure. This is all the schema, right? There's a ton of different types of schema, like lots of them, right? So, organization, local business, persona, service, article, FAQ. FAQ is the demo I did, right? But that free tool, or your ChatGPT, anything can do it, right? Get them in there, make sure it's tested though. That's why I like using that tool. So that's going to have a huge impact, right? And then classic SEO, classic SEO, right? Does each page have a clear H1 tag? Now we're getting to standard SEO stuff that still is important, right? You can't just have a bunch of slop out there for your website and expect it to do well. You still got to follow the basics, right? Your title tag's got to be in spec, your meta description, your H1 tag, your brand messaging. Come back to that brand messaging,
Yep.
That kind of stuff. So again, this is a checklist. Distribution, again, okay, where do we want to go? What do we want to do? This develops your strategy on attacking all those things, right? Very, very, very important, right? We'll go through all those things. And then authority, right? Backlinks, mentions where you mentioned, right? A good way to get to understand this, right, is, do a search, best plumber near me or whatever in chat, and you see the directories that they're on, right? And then you compile a list, and then you go get those directories, right? Those are some simple things that you can do, right? So that's like a walk through the spreadsheet, right? And then this little demo's on there, the free tool that I like to use for Schema. And then there's just a guideline here of things that you should be doing.
Brent, do we have this checklist right now?
Yeah. Hey, I'll drop it to you and you drop it to them real time.
Thank you.
It's really that checklist is sort of a SEO agency in a box, right? Especially for AI. And then there's the execution layer, which I didn't harp too much on the execution. You know why? Because the tactics change constantly, right? There's always this new AI agent that you can build, and that, all of a sudden it goes and finds all these things, and you can do it all simply, right? The tools are constantly evolving, but the strategy and this particular piece of AI SEO where we find ourselves right now is all about these main 5 distribution channels: brand, reputation, structure, distribution, authority. And that's what's going to get you in those AI SEO. You're going to get chosen, and we all listen to our AI now, right? Literally, we're doing SEO so someone else's AI can reference us. It's crazy, right? But that's actually the game that we're playing. If you remember, nothing else. Do you think I'm going to say brand? I might. Yes, I did. You need a clear, consistent brand everywhere. Oh, man. You need reviews. Boom. Right? We should probably just end with these 3 because no one remembers anything past 3 anyway, but I have some more. Structure, right? Brand, reviews, structure. Sorry that I had a 4th. Presence beyond your website. And read this 5. So we're done. And then authority. AI doesn't know you, trust you, and understand you. You won't show up. Q&A.
Well, let's go full screen for that. First off, Red, me and the chat want to say thank you so much for that presentation, because I know you put a lot of time into this, but this also could change a lot of people's lives here and the businesses they work with. I love it. Yeah, I mean, you're very good at building the relationships. You do a great job, trust me, I know. Guys, before we get into this, okay, I'm going to ask Brent a quick question, and then we're going to go into the questions real quick. So, Brent, my first question would be, where do you think SEO is going to be in the next couple of years with AI? Because right now, AI is everything. AI is taking over. Everybody's geeking out. But the truth is always somewhere in the middle. You got the people saying the whole world's ending. You got the people saying nothing's happening at all. The truth is always somewhere in the middle. What do you think, in your expert professional opinion, where this is going?
I firmly believe AI is going to keep us closer to truth, meaning everything, the playing field is actually going to go to the right people, not just the people that have tactics, the people that actually care, the people that actually are getting the job done, and the world is going to change, and it's going to change for the better, right? And people are going to start being people, and they're going to start caring, and they're going to start being creative, right? AI is solving so many problems with, the doing of things, and the doing of things are just crushing people, but it's going to level out where we've got adoption, and people are going to now trust that AI actually has our best interest, which I firmly believe it does, because it's invented by people. It's invented by good people.
Interesting. And you think in this age with the more marketing aspect, you think that's just going to be an even more reason for you to go out and help people, because it is going to get the better businesses out there?
Yeah. And the skill in marketing is going to be needed more than ever, right? Because the strategy, the thinking piece, the human psychology, right? The ability to persuade, right? The ability to invoke emotion. Those are the skill sets that really matter, right? The ability to press a button and make a widget do 5 different things. Who the freak cares?
Dude.
There's going to be a million guys that can invent that widget. But how many people can emotionally connect with people and build something together? Not many.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that was awesome, Brent. We love that answer. Guys, what we're going to do now, list out your questions one by one in the chat, and I will read them, and we're going to knock through these. We don't got a lot of time left, so make sure you guys get them in now. Okay, so put them in, and we're going to start going right through rapid fire. Okay, let's jump right into it. Okay, first up, Aurelie Decky says, question, how much can you charge per month if you are fully implementing all of these things that you covered in this tutorial, Brent?
Over $5,000 a month, right? So what we covered in this is way beyond a standard SEO package, right? A standard SEO package for us, for my agency is I want to say the basic things, not the social media things, not the amplification, right? The amplification is usually covered by the actual person, like the social media. We manage social media, but generally we just coach the actual client. So our packages, just to give you some idea, range from $1,200 to $2,600 average, right? That's on the low end, right? And it's basically one content and then all the fixes and strategy versus a content per week, which is my $2,600 package, right? And that's actually a super good deal. But keep in mind, my ideal client that I'm serving right now is a $500K to $3 million business, right? If you're going to serve someone that has a $20 million business, they're going to be able to pay a little bit more and expect a little bit more. And that's the way that's going to work, right? Now, the things in here, like the distribution piece of it, right? Getting everywhere, that's a whole separate service, right? That I only coach on. So that's why you can probably double that $2,600 and you can be charging $5,000 easy for this kind of stuff.
Perfect.
I hope that was a good answer.
It was a fantastic answer. Okay, Shayla asks, question, does this work for funnels or just for websites?
It works for funnels, 100%. So funnels have an SEO value as well.
Boom. Question, will you do a video on local citations?
Sure. Why not?
You know what I'm going to say, guys, real quick, Brent, because I'm going to cover this one real quick. Guys, Brent is going to be actually releasing a YouTube channel way more in depth. He has one right now, but he's going to be pushing it a lot more in the future. So I will be giving him shameless plugs constantly. So don't worry. He's going to do a whole deep dive on SEO here soon. So
yeah,
we're going to read
it. I can drop a call to action. Can I drop it as website?
Yeah.
All right. Learn.jds1marketing.com. That's the website that you saw. I put schema in that website. Learn.jds1marketing.com. It's my SEO lab where I'm going to be creating these types of videos. So just fill that out, join that, and you'll get on my little list, and I'll be happy to to get to know you and build a relationship, be human with you, that kind of stuff. And then go into citations.
All right, question. What kind of traffic results do you see, and how long does it take to see SEO results for a brand new website?
That's a great question, right? So the answer to that is obviously it depends. However, I'll give you an actual answer to that. Because I built fresh websites, right? And so I'll just take a website. For example, I built a website for a dentist, and I would say until he started chugging along with website form submissions and new patients at about month 7. Right. So it take a while, right? It takes a little bit of time. So that's just from experience. Now, is that normal? I would say, yeah. I would say that's probably right around the time where you start getting traffic.
Perfect.
Whoever did that, the technical SEO.com people.
Question, can you tell us more about Yext?
Yeah, Yext is a data aggregator. It's a citations, tool, right? Through Gohighlevel, you get a super discounted price because you kind of pass that along and charge your clients, which is how you make money off of it. It's awesome, right? There's a few out there. I would say you can look into a company called Merchant as well that has another really cool Yext citation. It's not Yext because Yext is the brand name, but another citation builder. But you asked about Yext. The reason that's a preference and the whole reason I started with that one is because it has an integration with Gohighlevel.
Yep.
If you were to buy a Yext account, so if sometimes actually I've done this before, client can't afford my services. I said, look, you got to get on these citations. Just open up a Yext account, and I would give them the information, and Yext would charge them anywhere from $70 to $90 just for a monthly subscription to build their citations, whereas Gohighlevel charges us like $40, right? So that's a huge discount. That makes sense. If you're going to do it through Gohighlevel, you get a tremendous discount, and then you'll still get all the same benefits, but you have it on your little widget, and you can track as the citations get built. It's pretty cool.
Fantastic. Question from EP Tech Flow. What do you charge for an end-to-end SEO package, and do you offer tiers?
Yeah. So I had actually go to jswebmarketing.com and my SEO tab, and you can see my prices right at the bottom of that. Right. And they are tiered. Right. And so it ranges from 1,200 to 2,600.
Perfect.
I probably should raise them because I've had them at that price for over a year now. But I haven't. So that's what they are. So the answer to that question is 1,200 to 2,600.
I love it. High Value Digital Solutions says, question, can we create a form to send to the clients that cover the checklist questions so they can do it at their convenience, or do you find it more valuable to talk through on phone and resume?
Yo, I love this question because there's different types of clients out there. You got to kind of know who you're dealing with. My preference is always do a meeting with them. However, sometimes even with the clients that you do want to build a relationship with, not you want to build a relationship with all the clients, but even the ones that are more kind of like chummy, sometimes it wastes a little bit of time, right? So it's easier to send them the form. So yeah, I would say it's a mixed bag. Maybe send them the form and then set up a meeting to talk about the form, and half of them won't fill it out, and then you do it in the meeting. I've had that happen more times than they fill it out.
Very sick. Plastic. Shannon asks, question, for outsourcing help, are they contractors or employees? And do you have a good way to go about finding getting help from the Philippines, India, Thailand, etc.?
Yeah. This is a very spot on question, right? So they're employees, but I pay them as contractors. They're full time, and the way I found them was PhilippinesJobsOnline.ph, right? And then if you go there, you open up an account. It's like $70 to open up an account, and you post a job offer. Like I've got a job offer, and you go through some things. What happens though is there's a lot of positions. There's a lot of demand for like an SEO tech, for example. So if you do that, you're going to get 150 hits. So you need to just be prepared to have some qualifications, like interesting qualifications, like hey, when you respond, the third word in this email has to say pink, and it has to have 2 brackets around it, right? And then when you get 150, 4 of them have that, and you only need those 4, right? Just stuff like that. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of, and that's actually how you get the good people like that too, right? So that kind of stuff. I hope that was helpful.
Fantastic. Julia Thomas says, question, is there an amount of months you do it and then stop?
For the citations, yeah. I stop citations at around, it depends. Some of them take a little bit longer to build, but usually after 3 months, you can stop that monthly burn, right? Now, as far as SEO goes and ongoing content, that never stops. And then also what never stops is, some of the critical directories that aren't Yextable, right? Yextable only reaches a certain certain number of them. There's some that have some manual effort that you've got to go ahead and do.
All right. Okay. Question, Julian Thomas. How to see if my brand ranks in AI?
Right now I'm testing a lot of different tools, right? I don't have a great answer. And the way I've been handling it on my reports is I've been going and actually typing in prompts and queries that I would want someone to find, like my client, right? I always use the best dentist in Cherry Hill, right? I'll put that in my prompt. And if my client appears, then I'm doing a great job, right? And they do, right? So I would say, to answer your question, I would say ask exactly what it is that you would want to be found for, right? And when you're not found for it, if you're not, then look at the retrieval sources. This is important. Look at the retrieval sources that they used for those other people. And then now make an effort to get your brand reference on those retrieval sources. It usually will be some directories.
Yo, I love it. Briscoe says, question, can you spell your website, please? You say it so fast.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, brother.
Sorry. JDS, one is in the number one, marketing.com. Yeah. And then my personal brand, where you can join the SEO lab, is learn.jds1marketing.com.
So obviously, as you know, Brent is my affiliate. Brent is one of my students, and Brent is an absolute killer. And the reason I bring this up, because I think this is really important, but like when I first met you, Brent, as you know, like you were not really a whole lot other than a corporate worker. But look at you now in all your glory, 60K plus months, $1 million per year agency. Like, I bring this up because any of you guys can be like Brent. And I don't think you guys believe that, but it is so possible. And it's so cool to see someone like you when I met you and to see where you're at. You were just like all these other people. You didn't know what you're doing. You didn't have clients, the whole beginner story. But look at you now, man. So real quick, before we go to the last 3 questions, what do you have to say about that, man? And some words of encouragement to the people. Because like, I think my favorite part that doesn't have to do with money about this whole kind of affiliate space and all this stuff is seeing people that you almost in your brain counted out. And then they came back. So I've almost counted out every single person just because so few people actually stick with it. They try this for a month and then they try drop shipping. They try e-commerce. They try crypto, like the classic shiny object syndrome bug. But when I see people that go through the way you did, and we have a lot of others, and you guys already know the other success stories, it really restores my faith in humanity because it shows me what is possible, that anyone can do it. So what do you have some words of encouragement for people? Because every time I see you, man, I get inspired. So
thanks, Declan. Thank you, Declan. I knew kind of what I was doing, but not really, and like, I was afraid to maybe get a client and this and that. And you saw it right away. And you're like, Brent, sell with confidence. Yeah. I was like, okay. And I remember and you were with me, I got my first deal. I was like, dude, I just closed like a website deal. And you're like, perfect. Here's what you do. Download this, and that. I'm like, okay. And like, aren't you going to do it? No. So like, it was so cool. Just getting my first client all the way back then, because technically I made that $297 that I had to refund, but my first client actually did appear in that $12,000 a year. All this with corporate America happened in the background. So it's like, it's so possible. And I think what made it possible is the help from the community, right? I invested so much in myself and so much in programs, so much in coaching, so much in all these things that, in mastermind class, this, that, the other thing, surrounding myself with the right network is the actual key. You can't do it alone, right? You can't. And even if you think you're alone doing it, you're actually not, because there's so many people out there. Look at, there's 8 billion people in this world. Your people are there.
Yeah, 100%. I loved it. I loved it. I love it. Last question from Chris Blow says, Brent, do you have YouTube videos that slowly break down stuff for us SEO challenged people?
Oh, I will.
Brent, listen,
Yeah, so go learn.jdswordmarketing.com. That's my community. I'm going to roll out all those things in there.
You got to put that on YouTube, man. That's such a waste of exposure. That is like literally like, oh my God. You just have to.
I know. I got to. It's like, it's ridiculous. It's like, it's so much opportunity to help others and to inspire.
Facts. All right, guys, we're going to go. God bless all of you. You rock stars. Catch you next week.
All right. Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions at all, drop in the comments down below, and I will answer personally. If you guys are interested in learning more about high level, I'm going to link a video at the end of this video that's going to be Beginner's Guide to High Level, so you can just see how powerful it is and really how simple it is, because it really isn't that complicated, but it also is the most powerful AI tool for local businesses. So that's going to be linked right at the end of this one. So again, thank you for watching. Drop a comment down below if you have any questions, and watch the video that pops up at the end of this one.